well, welcome, everybody. That's an interesting start to Friday morning, but hey, we will always remember the 2021 public speaking event because that was the fire drill time, right? So give you something to remember it by. Welcome to 8H, who is here today and watching. Welcome you guys. We're glad you could come along. I think you have 3 speakers from your classroom, so that's awesome. Welcome to supporters of, we have, for each speaker, we have somebody who's come along to just watch and support and be there for their classmate. And so we welcome you guys too. And I would also like to welcome our judges. Our judges are Mr. Thiessen, principal of our high school, Mr. Manuel, who is the head of schools at MEI. We have Mrs. Fair, who is our vice principal, and we have Mr. LaForest, who is not a judge. He's representing the accounting firm of LaForest and Sons, and he is going to be the person who takes all of the information that the judges put together, adds everything up, and will use that information to determine who wins this event today. So I especially welcome our speakers. You guys have worked hard. You've kind of drawn public speaking out a couple of extra weeks for yourself, and I think you guys are really well prepared. I heard a lot of speeches leading up to this, and I'm looking forward to today. So it should be a really good day. If we go a little bit long, as we might because of our start this morning, we'll just carry on and we'll get this thing finished. So we're going to start with our grade 6s, then we'll go to the grade 7s, and then the grade 8s. So our grade 6s will start with our first speaker, and it is Brooke Bergstrom, and Brooke's speech is why you should make your bed. Brooke?
It's not important. It'll just get messed up when I go to bed. My mom isn't here to make me do it. We all have our excuses for not making our bed. My excuse is, my cat's curled up in the covers and I don't want to disturb him. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. I'm here today to convince you that making your bed is, in fact, important. Making your bed is the irritating yet crucial task of fluffing your pillow and spreading the covers over your bed neatly. Even though there are many practical reasons for avoiding this task, it is still especially important we do the small yet significant act of making our bed because it improves our mental health, leads to productivity, and builds self-discipline. Making your bed can kill you. In 2005, when this got discovered, lazy people all over the world rejoiced. The philosophy states that when you make your bed, it creates a moist habitat for mites. Believe it or not, this is all a hoax. Since this new idea got discovered, experts have found a scarce number of worthy reasons to justify it. Professor Andrew Wardlaw disagrees because houses are already moist enough for mites, so not making your bed is an inadequate solution. In fact, you spend a third of your time in your rooms, so having a neat and clean environment has been proven to improve your mental health. As unlikely as it may seem, making your bed leads to productivity. I am confident that making your bed is essential, and so is Navy SEAL Admiral William McRaven. He states that if you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride and encourage you to do another task and another. If anyone knows what will make you successful, it would be an accomplished Navy SEAL Admiral, so take his advice. He even goes as far as to say, if you want to take over the world, make your bed every day. I don't know about you, but I never knew that my bed could help me take over the world. Lastly, making your bed leads to self-discipline. Self-discipline is very important because it means that you have the skill to make decisions and follow them through. Self-discipline is one of the main ingredients to a successful life, so we should all take part in making our bed. The skill will make us successful and enhance qualities like self-esteem, self-confidence, satisfaction, and happiness. And sure, all these qualities are great, but making your bed will also impress your parents and could easily earn you ice cream. After all, who doesn't love ice cream? Let's not fall into the trap of excuses and laziness. Next time you look at your unmade, hideous, and messy bed with disdain and doubt, and try to convince yourself that making your bed doesn't matter, remember that making your bed improves your mental health, leads to productivity, and builds self-discipline. Seizing the bright opportunities of our future all starts off with making our bed. So let's get out of bed and make our bed. Thank you.
Thank you, Brooke. Now, there will be probably 30 seconds or so between each speaker. That's mainly so the judges can kind of finish their adding up of their scores, and Mr. LaForest will give me a nod when he's got the speakers all arranged and all figured out and everything's done. So, so we'll just be patient. We'll wait for that to happen. And I do want to mention as well that in here, we should all make sure that we are wearing our masks 100% of the time. The only situation is when a speaker comes up here. They can remove their mask to speak, and got the screen and everything should be fine. So, so please just keep your masks on the whole time, if you can. And our next speaker in grade 6 is Cadence Carmen. Cadence's speech is Why Reading is Better Than Writing. Cadence?
Don't you just love that feeling when you come home from school and finally get the chance to sit down with a good book and relax for a few minutes? But then you remember your homework. Your teacher says you must write a 3 million word essay on ancient Mesopotamia. Which would you prefer to do? Read a good book or write a good essay? I wonder. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. Reading is better than writing because reading is rejuvenating, reading helps with spelling, and reading expands your imagination and knowledge. Reading is refreshing, while writing is very tiring. Even after a short while of writing, you begin to get bored, and it's hard to think of what to write. As well, when you write, your hand starts to hurt from holding the pencil. When you're reading, your hand doesn't exactly start hurting from flipping pages, does it? C.S. Lewis said once, "You can never get a cup of tea large enough or a book long enough to suit me." Finally, reading is relaxing, and you can do it any time. When I write, I feel anything but relaxed. Instead, I feel stiff and uncomfortable. Overall, reading is more refreshing than writing. Reading also helps with spelling in a better way than writing ever could. Reading helps you improve your spelling without you even realizing it. But when you're writing, you have to know how to spell already. And when you're writing, you have to ask someone to spell out a word for you at the top of their lungs because they're washing dishes in another room. Lastly, I read a lot, and I'm pretty good at spelling. But my sister, Eve, doesn't read very much, and her spelling is, sorry Eve, terrible. So, as you can see, writing helps with spelling. Lastly, reading helps your imagination and knowledge. When you read, you see every detail the author describes. Personally, I see everything in perfect detail and create the landscape, towns, and characters moving in a mental map of motion. And if you're reading fiction or fantasy, you're using your imagination. In the words of Margaret Atwood, I read for pleasure, and that is the moment I learn the most. Finally, reading takes you away into another world. When I read, I zone out and almost live the story I'm reading. So, when you read, you're learning and expanding your imagination. All in all, reading is better than writing because while writing is exhausting, doesn't help with spelling, and doesn't expand your imagination, reading does. Although I'm not telling you to stop writing. Us readers need authors, so we have something to read. Thank you.
So thank you, Cadence. We'll wait for our judges to make their final tallies. Guys are being a great audience there, 8H. All right, our next speaker from grade 6 is Janae Pauls, and her topic is why sleep is important. Janae?
As Phyllis George once said, "You snooze, you lose." Let me tell you that this quote is very inaccurate. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students, sleep is essential for a thriving body and healthy routine. It is simply the exercise of resting and recharging your body. It's mandatory to get a satisfactory sleep because it helps you be more productive, without our bodies would suffer, and improves your health in multiple ways. Sleep helps you be more productive. When being educated, like today at school, it is important to have a proper sleep before because your brain can absorb more information. Your brain loses the ability to make new memories by 40% without sleep. It's also vital to get a proper sleep after, like hitting the save button in your brain. Therefore, sleep plays a significant role in our everyday lives. People not getting enough sleep cost the United States over $114 million a year. How do you think this affects their economy? This is simply because they are not resting enough and therefore not working the expected amount, which brings me to my next point. Without sleep, our bodies would suffer. For example, we would not be nearly as alert. According to the National Sleep Foundation, 37% of drivers have fallen asleep behind the wheel sometime in their life. This is the cause of 20% of fatal car accidents per year. Furthermore, even 1 hour can dramatically affect us. Every year, there's a daylight savings where the time changes. When we lose an hour in the spring, heart attack rates go up by 24% the following day. Yet when we gain an hour, they go down by 21%. This is the same with car crashes, road traffic accidents, and even suicide rates. This is evidence that our bodies would clearly suffer without sleep. It is also essential to realize that sleep improves your health. There are microscopic cells in our bodies called natural killer cells. They protect us from harmful diseases, so they are important and something we would want lots of. Now, there was a study to determine the consequences of sleep deprivation. They found that after a single night with 4 hours of sleep, the natural killer cell activity went down by 70%. This is over half of these cells not working because of minimized sleep. In fact, there is such a strong connection between sleep and cancer that the World Health Organization has classified any type of night shift work with certain strands of cancer. It has been made obvious that sleep is important because it helps you be more productive. Without it, our bodies would suffer, and it keeps you healthy. So, next time you're thinking about pulling that all-nighter, I hope you remember the importance of restorative sleep. Thank you.
That's okay. All right. Thank you, Janae. Our next speaker from grade 6 is Tahila Thorough. Her topic is why everybody needs a Betty. Tahila?
Do you ever wish that when you come in after recess on a rainy day that your head wasn't so cold and wet in class? Do you ever wish that you had an awesome friend with an amazing sense of humor? Do you ever wish that you had the perfect hat that turns your whole outfit from fine to fabulous? Well, I have that perfect thing, and her name is Betty. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow students. Betty is my see-through plastic hat, and she is rad. There are so many things that make Betty rad, but I've narrowed it down to 3. She protects you from the rain so that your head doesn't get wet. She's a wonderful companion, and she's the most stylish hat I know. Clearly, a plastic hat is exactly what you need if you want to survive a rainstorm. They're made of plastic, so obviously they're the perfect thing on a rainy day. Another good thing about having a plastic hat instead of a fabric one, when it rains on your head, you can hear the pings of the rain on your hat, and it sounds super cool. Also, when you come inside from a cold, wet recess, you don't want to get in trouble for having a wet head. Plus, if you wear a plastic hat like Betty, you won't get cold. It feels good, trust me. Every single time I go outside on a rainy day for recess, I come inside completely dry, while all the other kids come inside soaked. Reason? Betty. Everyone knows that a plastic hat is the best companion to have. My hat Betty has the best sense of humor. Sadly, Betty has a terrible case of stage fright. But you can come by after and ask Betty to tell you her one-liner. I assure you, she tells amazing jokes. Betty is also very loyal. She always stays at my side, or rather, my head. She's so loyal, it's almost like she's attached to me. Then there's the fact that she can't tell a lie. Don't tell Betty this, but I can always tell if she's telling me a lie or not. I can see right through her. It's nice to have a friend that can't tell a lie. As you can see, a plastic hat is the best friend to have. It is obvious that Betty is the most stylish out of the 2 of us. For one, she has a wonderful figure. She just had plastic surgery, done by me, so she's a bit less square and a bit more round. Not to brag, but she looks rather good if I do say so myself. She also can go with just about any outfit and adds just the right amount of flair that you need. When I pass by people in the halls, they always comment on Betty. She's so stylish, people can't help but stare. She's incredibly popular. Betty has a magical quality about her as well. When she goes outside, she turns a glowing shade of indigo. She is truly magical. My reasons for Betty's fabulousness go far beyond that, but this is all the reasons I'm allowed to put in this speech. She protects you from any rainstorm, she's an awesome friend, and she is uber beautiful. I guess you could say she's practically perfect in every way. Thank you.
Thank you, Tehila. So our 5th and last speaker from grade 6 is Micah Penner. Micah's speech is called No Bananas on the Boat. Micah?
No bananas on the boat. At least that's what the dead crewmates aboard the poisoned banana boat would tell you. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. This may sound funny to you, but trust me, you do not want to bring bananas on a boat. Why, you ask? Well, they are dangerous, they take up space, and who brings fruit on a boat? It is essential to realize that bananas are dangerous. Why? Well, there was once a boat that came to dock with a whole lot of bananas on board, and when it docked, the whole crew on board was dead. Every single person. Also, if you eat too many bananas, it can harm your dental health and make your teeth hurt because they are a very sugary fruit. There are also diseases on bananas, like the Panama disease. This disease causes you to get very sick. Now can you see why bananas are dangerous? Another reason you should not take bananas on a boat is they take up too much space. Where would you put them? If you put them on a shelf, the shelf will get sticky. If you put them on your bed will get sticky. The only other place to keep them would be on the deck. But bananas must stay at room temperature or else they will not be sweet, which means you will have to keep them out of the sun. Did you know that bananas only last 5 to 7 days? After that, they turn completely brown and taste mushy and repulsive. Besides, if your bananas go brown, you will have to do something about it. And the easiest thing to make with bananas is banana bread. How are you going to make banana bread on a boat? What I mean by this is you should not take bananas on a boat, even if you love them, because they take up too much space. When I go fishing, the last snack that I would choose to bring is fruit. If you were going on a fishing trip and you could fit one more type of food, what would you choose? Would you choose a banana or would you choose pizza? I would choose a pizza way over a banana. Think of that pizza taste, that saucy, cheesy pizza. Tastes so good. Or you could taste that mushy, brown, sticky banana. The choice is yours. Besides, if you start eating bananas on a boat and you get a bite, you will have to go grab your rod and you would probably drop your banana on the way and must go pick it up. But by that time, your fish would be long gone and swimming in the Bahamas. The moral of this story is fruit brings sadness and pizza brings joy. As you have heard, any reasonable person will not bring bananas on a boat if you want to be safe, save space, and have fun. In closing, I beg you, please, do not bring bananas on a boat. Thanks.
So that concludes the grade sixes. Grade sixes, you did a great job. Let's give all the grade sixes a big round of applause, you guys. Some really good speeches. It's now in the hands of the judges. We'll start our grade 7 group, and the first speaker among the grade 7s will be Avia Lowen, and her speech is the importance of school. Avia?
Have you ever wanted to be in a place where fun is a constant? Friends are all around you, and you get to learn as well. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. Welcome to school, a place where learning is fun and all your dreams come true. Now, I know that many, if not most of you, do not enjoy school quite as much as I do. You may roll your eyes all you want, but just listen carefully. I might just change your mind. School is very important and is a bridge to success because it provides you with a good education, the opportunity to hang out with friends, and it helps you learn your talents. How great does this sound? Education. Education is key to unlocking the world, a passport to freedom. Oprah Winfrey. Here's the circle of life. You are born, blah, 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 fast forward. You go to school. You gain good education, which leads to good jobs. This leads to success, and success leads to happiness. The circle of life. And it all starts with school. Well, I mean, it all starts with when you're born, but you get the point. If you go to school, it is guaranteed that you make lots of money in the future, and then you can own hundreds of shoes. On another important note, school is a basic foundation that paves the way for your future. Do you like hanging out with friends? Well, what if I told you that by going to school, you can see all your friends at one place every day? As a matter of fact, studies show that children who hang out with friends at school are less likely to have social and mental health problems as adults. Maybe we should even consider going to school on weekends and holidays, just to see our friends. I mean, it's good for our health. Why don't we try something? Everyone look to your left. Now you're right. You'll see your good friends and okay friends, maybe the occasional weird kid in the corner, but you are all friends. Friends that go to school together to learn new things and life skills. Speaking of learning life skills, by going to school, you will develop things that will influence your future. I'm just spitballing here, but you might go to school wanting to be a veterinarian, play some football in PE class, and become the next Patrick Mahomes. There are endless possibilities. Additionally, just over the past number of months, I've learned how to bake, cook, build fires and shelters. I became fast at running, better at singing, and much more that I cannot list or will be here for hours. In conclusion, it has been proven that school is essential to us all because you gain lots of knowledge, you can hang out with friends, and you get to figure out your future. If you join me to make school great again, you will open up your eyes and become a person of wisdom, great intellect, and a savvy bank of vocabulary. I challenge you. Actually, I triple dog dare you to do these 3 things. Go to school, learn a bunch of things, and then buy me a nice pair of shoes as a thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Evia. Our next speaker from grade 7 is Jackson Teagan, and his topic is Kids Need a Cell Phone. Jackson?
Imagine you're in a kayak all alone in the middle of a massive lake. No way to shore, no paddle, nobody around you. You begin to panic. But then you remember, you've got your handy-dandy phone. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students, when you go to a mall or anywhere in public, what does everybody have in common? A phone. Nowadays, kids need phones. As the youngest kid in my family, I've been, forgotten, whether that be in a hotel lobby, a restaurant, or even a hot car. Let me paint you a picture. I'm 6 years old, and my older brother Luke is babysitting me. Now, he decides to take a nap, except for he forgets to tell me. My nose started to bleed. I'm running around the house, trying to find him, yelling his name, Luke, Luke, Luke. I sprint outside, still attempting to find him, as my mom pulls in the driveway. She steps out of the car, confused, thinking something horrible has happened to her baby. If only I'd had a phone. What I'm trying to say is get yourself a phone before you find yourself in a bad situation. If you needed to call the police, an ambulance, or even your mom, it's a simple, effective, inexpensive way to keep us all safe. In these difficult, tragic times, we can't connect or spend time with our friends and family outside of school because it's kinda illegal. One of the great things about a phone is that you can easily connect with, well, anyone. Most people can't even see their grandparents. We miss them, our aunts, uncles, older siblings that may not live in the house anymore, or that favorite cousin. With just the push of a button, you can be on a FaceTime call with any or all of your favorite family members. Having limited in-person connections during this pandemic has affected us greatly. Can you imagine how much worse it would be without phones? Phones give us at least some of the social interaction that we need. Flashlights, calculators, cameras, wallets, even your great Aunt Wanda just a few taps away. Our world is changing, and us kids need to keep up. There are over 38 million people living in Canada, and 31.8 million people that have a smartphone. Now that may sound like a lot of people, but what that actually means is that there's millions of children out there deprived of a smartphone. A phone is like a supercomputer in the palm of your hands. They're becoming so popular that even my very Mennonite Nan has one. Though I do have to teach her how to use it every time I see her. It's important we know how to use these great tools. They're our future. The sooner we have one in the palm of our hands, the better. There's even life-saving apps like Skip the Dishes and Uber in case we're home alone and hungry, or stranded at school on a rainy day and can't walk home. The options are endless. You could order toenails off the dark web if you really wanted to. It's all right there on your phone. Oh, looks like Jaquavis has my Skip the Dishes. Gotta go.
All right, thank you so much, Jackson. Our next speaker is Tessa Rebel, and Tessa's speech is called Honey Badgers Are the Best Role Models. Tessa.
There is a creature in this world that never gives up and fears almost nothing. This animal is also a 6-time winner of the Guinness World Record for being the most fearless creature. Is it a lion? How about a tiger or a polar bear? Nope, none of these. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students, today I want to tell you why honey badgers are the best role models. I want to share what we can learn from a little black and white badger that is known to climb into bees' nests, survive poisonous snake bites, and scare off fierce predators. More than any other animal, honey badgers are resilient, fearless, confident, and although they are small, they are very courageous. Honey badgers are about 30 centimeters high, 60 centimeters long, and weigh only 16 kilograms. But don't let their small size fool you. It is their fighting spirit that gives them courage to fight lions, wildebeests, and water buffalo, and win. Like the honey badger, don't let others intimidate you because of their power, size, or strength. Stand up for what you believe in. In Joshua 1:9, the Bible says, "Be strong and courageous, do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." One of the honey badger's favorite food is snakes. Poisonous snakes, actually, like the king cobra or puff adder. But these highly venomous snakes are no match for the honey badger. One bite from a puff adder might be enough to kill an elephant, but it merely puts the honey badger to sleep before it wakes up and carries on. Like the honey badger is immune to snake venom, we should not let poisonous thoughts such as self-doubt, fear, or anger stand in our way. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Honey badgers are able to survive in almost any type of environment, from rainforests and deserts to savannas. Part of their success is due to their resilience. These stubborn little creatures never, ever give up. They will try and fail over and over again until they succeed. Being resilient helps us see past our problems and, like the honey badger, harness our inner strength and not give up. Honey badgers have another unique quality. They are protected by a coat of armor. The honey badger's skin is so thick that it's not burdened by the stings of 1,000 bees. There are even reports of arrows and machetes bouncing off their skin. Wouldn't it be awesome if we didn't get upset over the little things or take things too personally? Like the honey badger, put on your coat of armor to protect you and make more room for joy and happiness. In conclusion, the honey badger is the best role model. Releasing your inner honey badger can help us be more resilient, courageous, confident, and have more joy in our hearts. So what are you waiting for? Go out there and be the best honey badger you can be. Thank you.
Thank you, Tessa. Our next speaker is Vanshita Dal, and her topic is the Indian farmers' protest. Vanshita.
Imagine the land you grew up in being taken away from you. Imagine 250 million people gathered in the freezing cold streets fighting for their basic right. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and fellow students, you should support the farmers because injustice to one human is injustice to us all. These are the hands that feed us, and the situation impacts you as an individual. Firstly, what's happening to the farmers of India is undeniably unjust. Why? Well, the government of India used to provide India's farmers with MSP, also known as minimum support pricing. MSP is a guaranteed price that stays the same through any significant falls in farm prices. It's sort of like the minimum wage. Now, what if the minimum wage was taken away? What if employers could pay us pennies as our hard-earned money? How would we provide food and shelter for our families? This is the basis of the farmers' protest. The government of India wants to pass 3 laws that will make the MSP irrelevant. This will give access to private companies to buy crops for cheap prices. These companies will collect crops, store them, and sell them again once the demand is high enough. The farmers will have no crops left to sell and will go into debt. To prevent this from happening, the farmers have marched down to the capital and are protesting for their right. The government is unhappy with this decision and are doing everything in their power to stop the protesting farmers, whether that means spraying tear gas in their eyes or spraying them with freezing cold water. And the police are making the situation even worse by beating the protesting farmers with batons. Peaceful protesting is a basic human right. The government of India has gone as far as physically abusing the farmers. On top of that, if they take away the farmland, this will leave a scar on the mindsets of Sikh farmers as they believe their land is a God-given blessing. However, the farmers are strong and resilient. They won't give up. If we support the farmers, we may persuade the Prime Minister of India to change his decision. Next, the working hands of the farmers provide our food. Did you know that 68% of the world's spices come from India? Or that India is the leading exporter of foods such as rice, milk, and wheat? When you order a Big Mac from McDonald's, do you ever wonder what that's made of? That is beef. Although this certain type of beef doesn't come from India, India exports $4 billion worth of beef around the world. Another fact is 24.2 million tons of maize is also exported. We all love a good corn maze, right? Finally, the farmer situation may be taking place in India, but it affects us Canadians more than you may think. India produces 6,423 metric tons of cotton a year. Do you wear brands such as Nike, Adidas, and Reebok? India exports cotton to these brands and many others. Without the farmers, we may not have these brands lying around in our closets. However, this isn't the only problem. The borders to Delhi are currently closed, and India's economy is having a harder time importing and exporting goods, meaning we may not have the foods that I listed before and the cotton we use on a daily basis. A less significant factor of the borders being closed is that no more tourists are entering Delhi. If you are planning a trip, you may want to postpone that to a later date. As you can see, the farmers aren't being treated with justice, they provide our food, and their situation impacts us. As George Washington once said, agriculture is the most healthful, most useful, most noble employment of man. It's time we start treating our farmers right. If the Prime Minister of India can't see that inequality happening beneath his own 2 eyes, then the least we can do is show our concern. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanshita. Our next speaker from grade 7, and this is our last grade 7 speaker, is Caleb Workington. His topic is slavery is still an issue today. Caleb?
Slavery is something terrible that happened a long time ago, right? Wrong. Right now, there are more slaves than ever before. More than 40 million, to be exact. And 1 out of every 4 is a child, just like you. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about modern-day slavery. Slavery traps people in a never-ending cycle, ruins the lives of children, and causes horrible working conditions. Most slaves become trapped in a never-ending cycle of slavery because of debt bondage. Debt bondage occurs when a person is tricked into working for little or no pay in order to pay off a debt. Chithra, a victim of slavery, was a child when her family moved to a slave owner's farm to work off an $87 loan. Her family worked for years, but the debt kept growing because the slave owner charged unfair prices for their living expenses and added them to their debt. Because of situations like this, kids can be born into slavery and die in slavery, living their whole life in the control of somebody else. Slavery ruins the lives of children. Slave owners prey on the young and weak, and 1 in 4 victims of forced labor is a child. That's 10 million children who are enslaved right now. Children just like you and me. Chithra was 2 years old when her family moved to the slave owner's farm, and she was only 7 when she was forced to begin working alongside the adults in the fields and brick kiln. She never went to school, never saw her friends, and worked long hours under abuse and harsh conditions. The slaves' working conditions are brutal. 1 school day for us is only 7 hours long, and that can feel like forever. Now, imagine working double that, every day, all year, in the blazing hot sun. And on top of that, some of the slaves get as little as 2 hours of sleep every night. As Chithra worked, she and her family were beaten and abused by the slave owners. It can feel overwhelming just hearing about this, but there is hope. International Justice Mission is an anti-slavery organization working to bring justice to nations across the globe, and they've already helped over 21 million people. My grandpa is on the board of IJM, and he has met many of the rescued slaves and has heard their stories. How does IJM rescue people? They work with governments to form laws against slavery, and they have undercover investigators who find out where people are being enslaved. Once they find them and collect evidence, they team up with local police to form a secret operation to rescue the slaves before the slave owners can hide them. They have lawyers who take the case to court so that the evil slave owners are put in prison, and finally, they help the rescued slaves find their families, receive education, and find real jobs. But putting a stop to a worldwide problem isn't cheap. IJM needs generous donors, and I encourage you to be one. You could give your own money, or you could do a fundraiser to help raise awareness as well as funds. Isaiah 1:17 says, "Seek justice, defend the oppressed." Do you remember Chithra? She now has a son, and thanks to IJM, Chithra's son and his family are now free.
All right, well, that concludes our grade 7s and just a really terrific group of speeches. Let's hear it for our grade 7 speakers, you guys. You can applaud yourself, that's okay. Yes, well done. So we are into our grade 8 group, and our first grade 8 speaker will be Eric Bensler, and his topic is how annoying people are. Eric?
William Shakespeare once said that it's better to be 3 hours early than to be even 1 minute late. My basketball coach says if you're 5 minutes early, you're already 10 minutes late. And my mom, she says timeliness is next to godliness. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students, I'm here today to pass on this great wisdom and explain to you how your failure to be on time will undermine the future of others, result in destroyed relationships, and affect the ability of those you care about to be on time. My parents hold all my hopes and dreams for the future and their ability to be on time. If they can't get me to school on time, I'll spend all my time in the office explaining to Mr. LaForest what happened and why I am always late. I'll miss out on Mrs. Hines' science classes, end up with a 0 on all her assignments, I'll get kicked out of MEI, and I'll never even make it to high school. After that, well, goodbye med school. Thanks, Dad. Looks like I will be living in your basement till I'm 40. Being on time shows consideration. Consideration shows respect. Respect imparts value, and value builds trust, which is the foundation of a strong relationship. People who are always late ruin this relationship. How so, you might ask? Because if they can't be trusted to be on time, how can they be trusted with other, more important things, like money or children? Trust is one of, if not the most important components in a relationship. If trust is not present, the relationship will fall apart. Have you ever not been allowed to do something by your parents because you did something that broke their trust a little while before? If you have, then you know how important trust is in a relationship. So, not being late is actually a pretty big deal. Important relationships hang in the balance of your ability to be on time. I don't think anybody actually likes being late or tries to be late on purpose, but it doesn't change the fact that it is super annoying. I think what most people like even less than being late is the person that makes them late. Like, seriously, people, it's not that hard. I cannot stand waiting for someone else when they might make me late. I go outside of my mind when it seems like they don't even care if we're on time. Set a timer for Pete's sake. Sleep in your clothes if that's what it takes for you to be on time. Buy some super strong cologne so you don't have to shower. Just figure something out. It's that simple. Honestly, I don't care what you do as long as you're on time. So, am I saying you should hate late people and get super mad at them whenever they're late? Yes, absolutely. I'm kidding. Just because your mom is late all the time doesn't mean she doesn't love you. And if you get mad at her because of it, you'll regret it, because she has power, and she will take away your phone. And one day, when you're late and she is on time and waiting for you, do you want her to get mad at you? No, of course not. Just be prepared for a very smug look when you get into the car. Well, if I want to finish this on time, I better wrap it up. So do your best not to be late, because it can limit your and other people's futures, result in destroyed relationships, and it's really annoying and I don't like it. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Our next speaker from grade 8 is Caden Thiessen, and his topic is the world's best snacks. Caden?
It was a remorse day last week. I only had $5.84 left in my wallet, and I was hungry. I needed a snack. So I went to Starbucks and got a grande vegan double shot caramel macchiato. It was gone in an instant, and it still left me feeling empty. That is a mistake I will never make again. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. Today, I'm going to tell you that the best snack for $5 is actually chicken nuggets, a Wendy's Frosty, and a juicy drop pot. The wheel, the light bulb, and electricity are all great inventions, but the greatest invention of all has to be the chicken nugget. The nice soft chicken on the inside and the crunchy breaded on the outside. So you head over to McDonald's and get a 4-pack of chicken nuggets for only $3.49. This takes up most of your budget, but it is worth it. If you closely examine the chicken nugget, you realize it is the perfect shape for dipping into that little container of sweet and sour sauce. According to the foodnetwork.com, chicken nuggets actually provide a very high source of vitamin B. My parents make me take my gummy vitamins every morning, so if chicken nuggets have vitamins in them, oh, they must be healthy for you. Chicken nuggets also make the world's greatest merch. It looks super fire and fresh, and if you want some, just contact UncleRandyOfficial@gmail.com. That is UncleRandyOfficial@gmail.com. This can be yours. No one knows what part of the chicken the nugget comes from, but that's beside the point. Chicken nuggets are a great source of protein, and you cannot get anything like it at Starbucks, except for those protein balls, and we all know those are disgusting. After you've devoured all your little chicken nuggets, you head over to Wendy's for a nice chocolate frosty. The chocolate frosty is a cup full of chocolate ice cream that blows you away into the awe of the masterpiece. I tell you, the frosty has tons of milk in it, and your parents say milk is good for your bones, right? I have never actually broken a bone in my life, and it's because I live off these chocolate frosties. The other ingredient in chocolate frosties is chocolate. You may not have known, but now you do. Chocolate is actually healthy for you. It shows that eating chocolate can lower your chance of getting a stroke by 46%. That's like half. And lower your chance of getting a deadly heart disease by a third. So, eat chocolate. It's healthy for you, right? You may have never heard of it, but the Juicy Drop Pop is the world's greatest tasting candy. It's only $1.36 in the lineup at Walmart. So you say, Mom, 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 can I get one of these? And she'll be like, no. You'll be like, no, they're the best. It's like a ring pop, but it has a little sour container. Take the sour juice, put it on the ring pop, and you quickly realize it's the greatest sensation you have ever realized in your whole entire life. So you say you're having a bad day and you're really sad because you're at school. Then you just grab a Juicy Drop Pop because they're high in sugar and they give you great energy. And you may be thinking, oh, sugar's bad for you. Why did you say that? No, I know. Sugar is actually healthy for you. There's a school done at the Harvard School of Public Health that shows that people who eat sugar actually outlive those who don't. I mean, who doesn't want to live longer, right? So sugar is legitimately healthy for you. And that study was done at Harvard. There's some pretty smart people that go there. As you can see, this is the perfect snack when you only have $5.84 left in your wallet. It's high in protein, only contains healthy ingredients, and the Juicy Drop Pop is the world's greatest tasting candy. So go out there and get the best snack for $5.84. Thank you.
Thank you, Caden. So folks, we will be having nutrition break, or at least, but we're going to wait until our speeches are over. We do have 3 more speakers, and when they're over, we'll do a short nutrition break after that. I think we kind of had a nutrition break first thing this morning without the nutrition. Anyway, our next speaker is Cameron Brar, and Cameron's speech is Music Makes Life Better. Cameron.
Let's say you're in the car with your friends with no music. Complete silence. Awkward, right? Now imagine you're in the car blasting your favorite songs and singing at the top of your lungs. Way better. It completely changed the vibe. Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. Today, I will tell you how listening to music can change your life. It brings life to whatever you're doing. You can find certain songs that make you happy, and music helps you make connections with other people. My first point is music brings life to whatever you're doing. Let's say you're in the shower. If you don't have any music, showering seems like a chore or something that you don't want to do. But if you have music playing, you don't want to get out. Singing along to your favorite songs makes showering so much more fun. It's a great place to brush up on your singing skills, and some of my friends could definitely use the practice. Now, imagine you're making cookies. Well, making cookies is always fun, but it's even better when you can dance around the kitchen using your spatula as a microphone. There's a song for every mood and every situation, and music can make you feel any emotion at any time. Those are just a few of the things that make music so great. Now, does everyone here have a hype song? I'm sure we all have at least 1 or 2 songs that can put us in a good mood anytime. These songs boost your levels of energy and make you excited and happy. Different genres of music can make people feel different emotions. For example, hip-hop music pumps me up, but for others, country music might pump them up. Whether it's getting in the zone to work out,
preparing for a school project, or just simply cleaning your room. Music can make you motivated and inspired. You can use hype songs. If you've ever been to a hockey game, I'm sure you've heard the teams playing their hype songs in the dressing rooms before the games. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. The players need to have that extra rush of adrenaline to hype them up before the games. Music boosts your levels of energy, boosts your levels of dopamine, which can relieve anxiety and depression. Isn't that totally dope? Sorry, my dad came up with that one. My last point is music helps people make connections and triggers memories. Don't you just love it when you and someone else share a moment during a song? Like, for instance, when you and your best friend sing a song word for word that no one else knows. You feel like you could do it for hours, and you feel a super strong connection. When you listen to music, you feel happy, and when you're happy, other people are happy too. Like Dick Clark said, music is the soundtrack of our lives. When we hear certain songs, it brings us back to influential moments in our pasts. When we're all 40 years old, TikTok dances are going to come back to haunt us. Imagine us at our high school reunion dancing to Doja Cat. Oh my. In conclusion, if you listen to music enough, you will start to see a change in your mood and in your life. You will feel happier and more confident. And you can take a journey through your past to reflect on your life. Trust me, if you start listening to music every day now, next month your life will have changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Cameron. Our next speaker is Marissa Uman, and her topic is Adults, a Weird Species. Marissa? I just mentioned to speakers, when this is all over, if you guys could stay, and we'll just have some pictures across the front. We will announce winners for the whole competition before lunch. And then 8H, part of the privilege of you guys being able to sit there involves you helping out putting chairs and tables away when you're finished. Take you like 1 minute. If you could stick around and just do that, make sure just the chairs that are out here and the tables, and we'll be good. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Marissa?
Okay. What is the weirdest creature you can think of? Spiders or lizards or even a monkey? What if I told you that the strangest creatures on Earth are walking and breathing right in your homes? Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students,
Today, I'm going to tell you why adults are a weird species. Adults act like they're in charge. Who put them in charge of what we do in the future, where we want to go, or what we do for fun? When a situation happens, adults suddenly take charge, even if they don't know what to do. Sometimes a kid may be smarter than you think, but no one acknowledges them. Adults always feel the need to force rules onto us, and for some reason, we listen to them. They always want younger people to act in accordance with their expectations. I don't see who put them in charge of what we do. Sure, they help us not do anything we'll regret, but other times, they're just a pain in the butt. Let us not forget how they want you to look, speak, and act a certain way. They'll act like your parents. At the store, I once saw a lady telling a group of girls that they shouldn't be buying noodles and that they should be cooking well-balanced meals. One of the girls politely told her that it's none of her business, but then the lady proceeded to say that she's an adult and she's in charge. I'm still wondering to this day, why do adults act like they're in charge? That is one question I don't think I'll ever get an answer to. Adults sit around all the time. Once I went to a pool and I was so excited to start swimming because the heat was killing me. I was just about to jump in before my parents stopped me saying, "Sweetie, you'll splash the adults." I took one look around and I see all the adults dipping their precious little feet into the pool. Well, except for the one lady who was actually swimming. I was annoyed. If you're just gonna dip your feet into water, why don't you just go dip your feet into a puddle or something else? Because I wanna swim. They always say kids have so much energy. Well, guess what? Maybe you adults don't have the motivation to go on a 5-minute walk. Now, I know some adults don't have a place where they can exercise, but other times, they're just lazy. Did you know an estimated 500 million adults are obese in the entire world? If unaddressed, an estimated 1 billion adults will be obese by 2030. Is it that hard to exercise? Grown-ups are always so serious. Will it kill them to lighten up? I try to crack a joke and they stare at me like I killed their grandma. It might be because I have a terrible sense of humor, but that's not the point. Grown-ups have no imagination, and most adults are always frowning. When I smile at them, some of them smile back, while others just turn around and walk away. They think because they're adults, they can't act like children. I don't think that's healthy for them all the time. Whenever something funny happens, adults are just sitting there poker-faced. Now, I know how much we need adults in our life, and it's true, they're amazing, but sometimes they can be a little over the top. When I'm an adult, I'll probably act like I do now. I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but at least I'll have a good life. What's the point of being all serious all the time if you don't enjoy it? If you loosen up just a little, you'll see the world is better than you think. In conclusion, adults are a weird species because they're serious, they sit around all the time, and they act like they're in charge. They have no imagination and are getting way too old. We need to make sure we don't let adults change our future. I hope you're enlightened about this little problem in society. Thank you.
So thank you, Marissa. We are coming to the end, folks. We have one more speaker, and that speaker is Yobdi Maratzi, and her topic is living in a pandemic. Yobdi.
Yobdi, you got your mask? Did you wash your hands? Are you sure? Because I didn't see you. And did you hand sanitize? Don't touch that. Hey, 6 feet apart. Sound familiar? Chairperson, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow students. I think everyone would agree this year has been like no other. I don't know about you, but I envisioned 2020 and the start of 2021 a little bit differently. I was gonna go to Hip Hop International, return to New York for some dance lessons, enjoy grade 7 camp, and all those fun things a 13-year-old typically enjoys. Clearly, none of those things happened. And never in a million years would I ever imagine myself standing here giving a speech about living in a pandemic. I confess, during this pandemic, I've had a wide range of emotions. I often felt angry, fearful, and hopeless. Far too many times, I dwelled harshly on unrealized dreams and missed opportunities. But as I stop and reflect on the intense struggles of this past year, I realize these strange and difficult times have taught me some very valuable life lessons. Here are 3 of them. The first important life lesson I learned during this pandemic is that family and friends matter more than anything else. While our family Sunday Zoom calls cannot replace the warmth of human contact, they've been a way for us to share common challenges, laugh, and be together. As an only child, I rely on close friends to be my siblings. They're my second support line, after my awesome mom. Yes, I miss the simple things, such as a vanilla bean frap at Starbucks, or simple hugs, but friends have found other meaningful ways to share how much they care. I've been blessed with encouraging notes in my mailbox, a beautiful friendship photo album, and an awesome video featuring birthday greetings to my friends. It has taken a pandemic for me to realize that family and friends are my most precious possessions. The second valuable life lesson I learned is that life is precious. Be grateful for what we have. With over 109 million worldwide getting sick, this pandemic has made me realize how fragile and precious life is. It has been a reminder to appreciate the smaller things in life, the things I often take for granted. I've learned to be thankful for my home, my teachers, family, friends, and the outdoors. We may complain about getting up early in the morning to go to school, but when you think about it, it's actually a privilege. Life is a gift. What we have today may be different than what we have tomorrow. And the third powerful life lesson I learned is that reaching out with a small gesture or a few kind words can have a huge impact on our well-being. Even a simple, are you okay, can go a long way. I will never forget the kind words spoken by one of my teachers. Yobdi, I just want to let you know if you need anything, I'm here for you, and I'm praying for you. This brought tears to my eyes. Someone in the midst of their hectic day cared enough about me to acknowledge my pain and reach out. These words had a huge impact on me and carried me for days. This pandemic has taught me to not assume that everyone is okay and that reaching out with a small gesture and few kind words can lift someone. To conclude, living in a pandemic is definitely not a walk in the park, but I'm standing in front of you here today to tell you in the midst of my struggles, I've learned the most powerful life lessons. It has taken a pandemic for me to be reminded how important family and friends are and how precious life is, and that reaching out with a small gesture or a few kind words can make a huge difference to someone. Yes, like all of you, I'm tired of being a part of a major historical event, but I assure you, this shall pass too. As a famous Japanese writer said, when you come out of the storm, you won't be the same person who walked in. You'll be stronger, wiser, and more alive than before. Thank you.
All right, that brings to the end the grade 8s and our 2021 public speaking event. So let's give our grade 8s a big hand. And let's give all of our speakers a big hand, you guys. Well done. I'll remind you that we will be announcing the winners at lunchtime, and again, that I'd like all speakers to come up here for a few last-minute instructions and possibly some photographs. And again, thank you very much to 8H. You guys were an amazing audience, and our judges, thank you so much. Let's hear it for our judges, guys. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend. Thank you.